Hello, fellow educators. Welcome to the ninth episode of Teacher's Tent, a place to regain your strength after a long day, week, or maybe semester this 2023. I'm your host, Steve G. Thanks for your feedback on last week's episode. It looks like many teachers have accepted the challenge to play and have fun with their students. Awesome! Today, I have picked an answer from Derek M., a high school math teacher from Mesquite, Texas. He says that in his class, the only person students are allowed to make fun of is him. His students respectfully make fun of the dry cereal he eats as a snack each morning. This high school teacher suggests that you find things that are different about yourself and allow it to be an inside joke for your class. Thank you, Derek M., for your valuable input. Today we'll focus on helping our newer teachers a bit. The most frequent question I get when presenting is, am I really supposed to do everything they ask me to do? Now, if you've been in a classroom for just a week, you can already tell the answer is no, that is not possible. Invariably, the next question following is, so which things are essential and which are not? Now, teaching is far too complex to summarize in a given number of vital requirements that one should find in a classroom. However, with the help of many experienced educators who have sent their ideas, we will try to answer this difficult yet essential question to guarantee every teacher's survival. In this episode, as usual, I'll share my 5 things which I believe are a must in a classroom. So, I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Please keep sharing your feedback after listening, either through comments on Instagram or emails, in things you think are a must do for every teacher out there. So, let's discuss what is essential and what is not for a teacher. I firmly believe the number one component every teacher must have is classroom management. When I present on this topic, I start by debunking myths around this pillar. We honestly should devote an entire episode to this huge concept. Some teachers have already suggested it, and I'm considering discussing it in the fall. But let's just say for right now that classroom management is the way teachers ensure their lessons run smoothly without disruptive behaviors that prevent the learning. By agreeing to certain rules and procedures, teachers and students commit themselves to protecting both the learners and the learning environment. Some new teachers don't understand the importance of class management. They feel they have a lot to teach and therefore don't have time to devote to it. Most educators agree, however, that if you don't set a clear ground for these rules and procedures at the beginning of the year, you'll hardly be able to teach anything at all, as you will be battling interruptions and behavior issues for the rest of the year. Now, class management does not end on the first week of school. Consistency with the rules is crucial. I always tell my students that winter changes into spring, but our class's rules don't change. I know it's hard to be consistent when we are stressed or tired, but steadiness in procedures and consequences brings, in the long run, the best results. A second must have element in a classroom is, I think, a plan. There are all sorts and shapes of lesson plans. Mine are just a one pager. Were they like that when I first started teaching? Oh no. I wanted and needed everything scripted and detailed. Eventually, I was able to let go as I felt more and more confident. Honestly, I don't think very highly of teachers who prefer to spontaneously walk into the class and teach following the spur of the moment. I believe we all need a plan. Whatever shape or color works for you is absolutely fine. A third helpful thing, tied to the previous, is learning, of course. If you have both elements mentioned but learning is not happening in your classroom, that is a big red flag. Classroom management and lesson plans must be avenues that allow students to connect yesterday's learning with today's, with the purpose of building our kids' schema. A way of measuring this learning is also desirable, so some form of data tracking is advisable. Data monitoring will allow us to see growth and tailor our future lessons to each student's personal needs. Some form of grading is a fourth component that is essential in a classroom. Formal and informal assessments will also help in discovering each student's path along the learning road. Keeping up with grades, as well as offering parents a glimpse of their students' progress, is also an example of good educational practice. A final fifth element is what I define as a certain level of compliance with due dates, especially those coming from administrators and our own evaluators. I am aware that some days we teachers receive too many emails, text messages, and requests, but prioritizing them will allow us to filter those that fit this category to ensure they get taken care of first. Respecting reasonable due dates from administrators and evaluators is a wise decision that can go a long way helping the teacher stay on their good side. In conclusion, we know teaching is hard, and as new teachers, it's easy to feel that it is impossible to do all that you're asked. However, focusing on just these five essential ideas, namely classroom management, lesson plans, some learning, grades, and compliance with due dates, will allow for a smooth arrival at the other shore. These are the top five on my list that we have covered in today's episode. What is essential and what is not? I would love to hear what suggestions would make your top five list. Feel free to email me these or other comments to steve@teacherstent.com. Again, that's steve@teacherstent.com. Or you can follow Teachers Tent on Instagram. That's Teachers Tent, altogether, lowercase. In the meantime, join us next week for our podcast's 10th episode. I Feel Lonely at School. Many teachers share feelings of isolation and forsakenness in their workplaces, despite them being surrounded by many people. So, please let me know in advance any thoughts and tips you might have on this sensitive topic. And if you're enjoying the show, please don't forget to let your colleagues and friends know about and bring them to Teacher's Tent. There's room for them too. Have a great week.